What if the words everyone thought were a joke were actually a confession? And what if the man who said them knew exactly what he was doing when he let the world hear them? For years, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue have existed in that dangerous space where fiction and reality blur, where a single glance can ignite rumors and a shared smile can rewrite headlines. But this time, something changed. This time, fans say the line was crossed. Because the phrase future bride was spoken, and once those words enter the air, they never truly disappear. Right now, right before the next revelation, is your chance to stay connected. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another powerful story, another shocking twist, or another unforgettable journey. This is not just another celebrity rumor. This is the story of a moment that shook an entire fandom, reopened an old love story, and forced everyone to ask the same question. Was Dylan Wang joking, or was he finally telling the truth he has been hiding in plain sight? The night it happened did not feel extraordinary at first. A relaxed setting, laughter, familiar faces. Dylan Wang was in his element, confident, playful, effortless. Fans have always known him as someone who teases, who deflects with humor, who turns pressure into charm. But then came that moment, a casual exchange that suddenly felt anything but casual. A sentence delivered lightly, yet heavy enough to stop hearts. Future bride. Not rumored girlfriend. Not co-star. Not friend. Future bride. The reaction was instant and explosive. Clips spread like wildfire. Comments multiplied by the second. Some fans laughed nervously, convincing themselves it was just another playful remark. Others froze, replaying the footage again and again, analyzing his tone, his expression, the pause before he spoke. Because this did not sound like a joke. It sounded deliberate. It sounded intimate. It sounded dangerous. To understand why these two words hit so hard, you have to go back to where it all began. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue are not just two famous names. Together, they are a phenomenon. Their on-screen chemistry in Meteor Garden did more than launch careers. It created a bond that fans never stopped believing in. Long after the cameras stopped rolling, the connection lingered. In interviews, in behind-the-scenes footage, in those quiet moments when they thought no one was watching, they laughed too easily together. They looked at each other too long. They understood each other without speaking. And when promotions ended, something strange happened. They did not drift apart the way most co-stars do. Instead, they remained close, supportive, quietly present in each other's lives. Over the years, there were signs. Subtle, easily dismissed signs, but signs nonetheless. Matching schedules. Shared circles. The way Dylan's name would surface whenever Shen Yue achieved something big, and the way Shen Yue's presence seemed to ground Dylan when fame threatened to overwhelm him. Fans noticed. They always do. Yet both remained officially single. Or, at least, officially silent. That silence is what made the words future bride feel so loud. In an industry where every sentence is filtered, where managers weigh every phrase, where relationships are hidden behind contracts and carefully curated images, calling someone your future bride is not an accident. It is not something you say without understanding the consequences. Dylan Wang understands his influence. He understands how deeply fans listen to him, which is why many believe this was not a slip of the tongue, but a calculated moment of honesty. What made it even more unsettling was what happened next. Shen Yue did not rush to deny it. There was no public correction, no awkward clarification, no statement claiming it was misunderstood. Instead, there was silence, a silence that spoke louder than any denial ever could. Fans began connecting dots. Old interviews resurfaced. Moments once dismissed as friendly suddenly took on new meaning. The way Dylan once said he wanted a partner who felt like home. The way Shen Yue described love as something that grows quietly, away from noise. Two separate interviews, years apart, echoing the same sentiment. Coincidence, some argued. Destiny, others whispered. What truly shocked fans was the emotional shift they noticed in Dylan Wang himself. Those close to him have long said that behind his confident exterior lies a man who feels deeply, who protects what matters to him fiercely. In recent months, fans observed a calmer Dylan, less reckless, more grounded, almost as if someone had become his anchor. And every time Shen Yue's name appeared, his energy changed. The future bride comment did not just spark romance rumors. It challenged the carefully maintained wall between idol and human. It forced fans to confront a reality many had both hoped for and feared, that their favorite star might be choosing real love over fantasy. Of course, not everyone celebrated. Some fans felt betrayed, clinging to the illusion that Dylan belonged only to them. Others worried about Shen Yue, knowing how cruel public scrutiny can be. But a growing number of voices spoke with surprising maturity, saying that if this love was real, it deserved protection, not punishment. Because at the heart of this story is not scandal. It is patience. If Dylan Wang and Shen Yue are indeed walking toward a shared future, they have done so quietly, resisting the urge to capitalize on hype. They have allowed their connection to mature away from flashing cameras. And when the words finally slipped out, they did not feel rushed. They felt earned. So was it a joke, a tease, a moment taken out of context? Or was it the most honest sentence Dylan Wang has ever spoken? Until one of them confirms or denies it, the truth will remain suspended in that delicate space between reality and hope. But one thing is certain. Those two words changed everything. They reopened a story fans never stopped believing in. They reminded the world that sometimes the most powerful love stories are not announced with headlines, but whispered into existence when no one expects them. And if Shen Yue truly is Dylan Wang's future bride, then perhaps this was not a shock at all. Perhaps it was simply destiny, finally finding its voice. And yet, the story does not end with two words spoken in passing. In many ways, that was only the beginning. After the clip spread across social media, fans began watching everything more closely. Every appearance, every interview, every public interaction. It was as if the world suddenly leaned in, waiting for something else to fall, for another crack in the carefully constructed silence. And what they saw only deepened the mystery. Dylan Wang did not retreat. He did not hide. Instead, he became strangely composed. When asked about love in later interviews, he did not joke as much. His answers grew thoughtful, measured, almost introspective. He spoke about responsibility, about choosing the right time, about protecting the people you care about from unnecessary harm. To some, these were generic answers. To others, they sounded like the words of a man already committed to something real. Meanwhile, Shen Yue remained graceful, as she always has. She focused on her work, her projects, her craft. But fans noticed subtle changes. A softer confidence. A quiet glow. The kind that does not come from success alone, but from emotional security. In one appearance, when asked about her future, she smiled and said she believed the best things in life do not need to be rushed or announced. The timing of that statement did not go unnoticed. Their paths continued to cross in subtle ways. Mutual friends. Industry events. Occasions where their names appeared in the same breath, even when they were not photographed together. And perhaps most telling of all was what did not happen. There were no dating scandals involving either of them. No sudden rumored partners. No attempts to distract or redirect public attention. For longtime fans, this restraint felt intentional. Those who have followed Dylan and Shen Yue from the very beginning know that their bond was never loud. It was never performative. Even during the height of Meteor Garden promotions, their connection revealed itself in quiet gestures. A hand offered instinctively. A glance that lingered half a second too long. The kind of moments that cannot be scripted because they are not meant for an audience. Revisiting those memories now feels different. Scenes that once seemed like playful acting now feel charged with something deeper. Fans began asking themselves uncomfortable questions. What if they were not just acting back then? What if something began that neither of them were ready to name? The future bride comment forced a re-examination of the past. It reframed years of interaction into a single, continuous narrative. Not a fairy tale romance filled with grand declarations, but a slow, careful evolution. Two young stars growing up under relentless public pressure, choosing patience over impulse, privacy over spectacle. Industry insiders have long hinted that certain celebrity relationships are hidden not because they are fake, but because they are serious. The more real something is, the more fragile it becomes under public scrutiny. If Dylan Wang and Shen Yue are indeed walking that path, then silence may be their greatest form of protection. And yet, silence can only last so long. Fans now wonder if this was Dylan testing the waters. A controlled revelation. A way of acknowledging something real without fully exposing it. By framing it as a playful remark, he could speak his truth while still giving himself space to retreat if necessary. But the problem with truth is that once it escapes, it cannot be taken back. The phrase future bride carries weight. It implies intention, continuity, a belief in permanence. It suggests that the speaker sees not just the present, but a shared tomorrow. For a man whose every move is dissected, that kind of language is almost rebellious. What makes this story even more compelling is how perfectly it aligns with who Dylan Wang has become. No longer just the rebellious breakout star, he has matured into someone who speaks often about values, growth, and accountability. Love in his world is no longer a game. It is a choice. And Shen Yue, long admired for her emotional intelligence and quiet strength, has always represented stability. She is not drawn to chaos. She does not chase headlines. If she is part of this story, it is not for publicity, but for something deeply personal. The fandom now stands at a crossroads. Some cling to skepticism, waiting for official confirmation before allowing themselves to believe. Others have already accepted what feels obvious to them. And then there are those who simply watch, quietly rooting for happiness, whatever form it takes. Because beneath the speculation and excitement lies a simple truth. These are two human beings who have shared a rare connection under extraordinary circumstances. If they have found love in each other, it is not something to be exposed or consumed. It is something to be respected. So the question remains, hanging in the air, unanswered, but impossible to ignore. Was Dylan Wang's shocking comment a glimpse into the future he is already living toward? Or was it the first crack in a secret he and Shen Yue can no longer keep hidden? Until the day the silence breaks, fans will continue to listen closely. Because sometimes, the most powerful love stories are not confirmed with announcements or photographs. Sometimes, they begin with two quiet words that change everything.